It is time for something that probably a small percentage of you care about, and it is me recapping the 2025 ACB Convention in Dallas. It's December when this video is coming out. Convention happened at the beginning of July. Also, if you have followed me on my gaming channel and you saw any of my videos over the summer, you know all of this already. This is for the people that don't. I did a room tour. I talked about this in my last video where I did a life update. I did a room tour. I'm gonna insert it here most likely, and then we'll come back and chat. I am doing this a lot later in the night than I usually do. I had a long day. I flew here to Dallas. We're at the Hyatt Regency Dallas, and we're gonna do a little room tour. So obviously, you know, we enter here. We're on the 14th floor. This is the closet with a mirror here. There are some hangers. We do need to contact the front desk about getting more, probably. A luggage rack, you know, iron, extra linens, I think, or the laundry bag or whatever. There's a safe. The other door doesn't have a mirror on it, I don't think. Yeah, no. The bathroom, I hate because of like the barn doors, but we have a walk-in shower instead of a tub, which is pretty nice. I would have liked to have had a tub to like soak after a long day, but whatever. The toilet is here, and then, you know, we have the vanity with the mirror. No TV in the mirror like there was in Schaumburg. Our stuff is everywhere. Well, not everywhere. We haven't like fully unpacked. We needed a shower stool, so the hotel did bring that for us, and that was really great. Ankar was here working all day, so like his work stuff is here. We also got a microwave. Ankar requested it and they gave it to us complimentary, which is very nice. This TV is like humongous. I like this artwork on either side of the TV with like the backlit, like the light strips behind it. I think it looks cool. We have an ottoman under the desk area here. We do have, you know, the coffee maker. There's some snacks that Ankar brought. Cookies that I was given on the plane, like extra ones, whatever. The water that we're not gonna touch because it's like $3. We got a king room. When we booked this, because we're here for the convention, they only had queen rooms available, but when Ankar came in and checked in this morning, they did have a king room ready and they gave it to us at no extra cost, which was great because if you recall last year in Jacksonville, the king rooms were like $10 a night extra, and that does add up because we are here for quite a long time. I do like the light strip behind the headboard. I think that's really cool. I haven't figured out any of the lighting in here yet. Like, I don't know what switches go to what or whatever, because like when I came in here it was like supper time and all the lights were on because Ankar had been here. We have this really comfortable chair with this like footstool that I think, yeah, it is separate, and this little side table that my purse is on, and this like lamp with like the tripod stand. It kind of reminds me of IKEA. Because we're in a king room, we have end tables on both sides and plugs on both sides, which is great. My side where my water bottle is, and like there's, you know, the phone, the remote, and whatever, and then the other side has the alarm clock. I haven't like tried to figure out yet what the deal is. I hope nobody set an alarm on that. The view is nothing to look at right now because it's dark out, but you know what's really cool? First off, well, we also have this like shade lounge here, which is fine. Like, it's actually pretty comfortable. We sat on it earlier and talked, but like this is a shade, it's not curtains, which I think is really great because sometimes when you're at like a hotel with the curtains, there's a gap even though it's like blackout. I hope you can't hear the air conditioning blowing. This is like a panel that controls like the shades and stuff. I'm not 100% sure what this does. Ankar said that the person who brought him here showed him how it worked and he was able to close the shades and open them fine. There are like regular sheer ones and like the blackout ones. Obviously we have both shut right now. That is the room. It's late. I'm tired. I'm gonna probably go to bed and we'll talk tomorrow. I want you guys to know that I sat in this chair and it like moved back. Not like the base, but like the chair part, like it leaned back and it scared me. I got into it really weirdly too because I can't really like move the footstool that easily. I'm weak. I wanted to mention that we had dinner at the restaurant, which is not something we usually do. There's also obviously a mini fridge in this room. I didn't show that to you guys because it's just a mini fridge, but we had dinner in the restaurant in the hotel. Would have done DoorDash, except it was getting late and I was getting hungry. We ended up getting like the last seating basically. So we ate, I think, after the kitchen was closed. We ended up getting there and being seated at around 9, and we ate like about a half hour later-ish, 45 minutes, but they did bring out chips and dip for us complimentary, which was good, I think, because we were waiting so long. I think we actually were seated more at like 8:45, but we did wait a while for our food. Our server was really, really great. I got fried avocado tacos, which I've never had fried avocado before, and it was really good. Ankar got striped bass, bass, like seared bass or something. I don't know. He said it was really good. My tacos came with fries. The fries were good. It was nice because like I hadn't really eaten real food that much today because I was flying. But tomorrow morning we're gonna eat in the restaurant in the hotel. Again, we really don't normally eat in the restaurant, but we're doing it. I was gonna do a DoorDash delivery order for groceries tonight, but by the time we talked about doing that, the store was gonna close in like 15 minutes to do the order from, so we're gonna do it tomorrow morning. I need water. If you guys don't know, I can't really like drink tap water when I'm traveling. It like kills me. So I was gonna order like a case of water, and we're gonna get like bananas and yogurt and stuff to like have like for breakfasty type like snackies, whatever. And when we were at dinner, I was able to get a bottle of water from the restaurant, which was also great. Like they actually had it on the menu. And I know it like cost more, but quite frankly, I'm okay with that because I don't want to get sick. I'm waiting for Ankar to get back. He went to go find like a refill thing to fill his own water bottle because he was here all day. Even though he was working, he did like explore the hotel a bit. When he gets back, I think we're gonna go to bed because it's late, and he was up like at 3 a.m. for his flight Eastern time, and we're in Central time right now. So tomorrow is gonna be pretty chill. He's just gonna work. I'm gonna go look around the hotel, so I will see you then. So started off like any other normal convention. I flew from Boston. It was a direct flight to Dallas, thank God. I was in Delta's comfort class, which was great. There was a guy next to me. I was in the window seat because I prefer sitting at the window. There was a guy next to me in the middle seat. He was a weirdo. He had like a cup of coffee that he got, obviously like in the terminal at Logan. First, he put his tray table down when we were sitting there on the tarmac, like while everybody else was boarding, which was fine. He stuck his coffee on there, whatever, la-di-da. We go to take off. We're taxiing. They closed the door, we're moving. His tray table is still down and the coffee is still on it, and I'm like looking at the coffee and I'm like, do I call a flight attendant? Because I didn't want it to like spill on me, but I also didn't want to like be a problem because I don't know this man. He could be a bad person. Luckily, when they were moving through the cabin to like do their final check and all that nonsense, one of the flight attendants saw it. They told him to like close his tray table and whatever. He stuck the cup of coffee in the seat back pocket and he never touched it again. And then because it's Delta and they have Wi-Fi on all of their planes now, when we were at cruising altitude, obviously we could use Wi-Fi. So he whips out his laptop. This is like the beginning of July. Prime Day was going on, or like it was about to happen, and I was reading a book on my phone because like I use the Kindle app. Like I have a Libby for my library card and I use the Kindle app to like read my books. So I was reading a book. I think it was the second book from the Royal We. I think it was The Air Affair that I was reading. I can't remember. Great book. But he's like on his laptop and I could kind of see what he was doing because he was sitting close enough, because obviously like we're like this, like we're close together because we're on a plane, even though we're in like comfort, like we're still kind of like smushed. He kept going back and forth between Amazon and what looked like a Google Doc. I don't know, I kept seeing him like add stuff to his cart, and then he was going to like this Google Doc. It looked like a Google Doc or some sort of Word document, and he was like highlighting text. It was so bizarre. I wasn't like intentionally creeping on him. Anyway, we land, we're in Dallas, whatever. So the meet and assist person comes to meet me. With the convention, they had an agreement with a shuttle company to take us like to and from the airport if you wanted to, because it was cheaper than Lyft. Ankar got there earlier that day because he was working. He got there early in the morning. He left DC, went to Dallas. He took a Lyft from the airport to the hotel. We both flew into Dallas Fort Worth. The hotel was like somewhere else. It was the Hyatt Regency, like right near the grassy knoll with the Kennedy thing. He said his Lyft was like $50. Meanwhile, I took the shuttle. I was gonna take it round trip, but we both decided that we were going to split a Lyft back to the airport, but he paid for it. I didn't. The shuttle was like, I think $50 round trip. So like me one way was like 25 bucks or whatever. So I'm talking to the meet and assist person and he's like, where do you need to go? And I'm like, I need to go to baggage and I need to get a shuttle. I'm getting super shuttle. And he's like, we don't have that anymore. And I'm like, yeah, you do, because I have a booking confirmation for it. So the super shuttle was there, and then we waited because there was like a whole family that had to get on as well because it's like a shared service, which was fine. They were going to the Love Field airport and they got off. They didn't know where they were going. I think they were like, obviously Dallas was not home for them. They get off. It's a family. It's like a couple that's probably like in their 30s or 40s and they have 2 young kids. They don't know where to go. They need to get on another plane. For whatever reason, they flew into Fort Worth and they needed to catch Southwest at Love Field. So the shuttle driver takes them to wherever they need to go. I'm sitting in the shuttle, and then finally he comes back and we go to the hotel. He was a nice man. We were very chatty. It was fine, whatever. I get to the hotel. Ankar obviously had been there all day, so he meets me in the lobby, helped me with my bags. I'm really glad that we were on a higher floor because the hotel, if you've never been to the Hyatt Regency Dallas, it's the convention center as well. So like the whole convention center portion is on like the first 3 floors of the hotel. And then I guess there were also sleeping rooms on that 3rd floor, and then like the whole rest of it is guest rooms. And then there's another tower that I think have like other guest rooms and suites, but like we were just in the main tower, which was better because it was easier for us to like get to where we were going. We were further down the hall, which was great. We weren't at the very end of the hallway, which was also great because we weren't like right by the stairwell. As you saw in the room tour, the room was nice. The following day was nothing day because we got there on Wednesday. If you've never been to one of these, or if you haven't seen like any of my other videos on the conventions, the pre-registration pickup, like if you pre-registered for it online, is the Thursday night. So if you're going on a tour or doing whatever on Friday where you need like a ticket, you best get your thing Thursday night. He was working, so I went with a friend of mine and her mother who always come to convention. Her mother was sighted. We got an Uber. We went around. We went to like this upscale thrift store. Her mom follows some influencer on some app that was talking about it and buys stuff from there. I didn't buy anything, but it was really fun to like poke around and see what they had. And then we went into a grocery store. It was like Whole Foods adjacent, but it wasn't Whole Foods. I got like granola and yogurt and bananas, some snacks to have in our bags as we go along, and a case of water. And then we went back to the hotel. That evening we got our pre-registration stuff because we were going on a tour the following night. They were doing a riverboat cruise. Well, a boat cruise. It was not a riverboat. They didn't have anything planned that Friday day. They were going to do a winery, but the winery, because they would have had to like rent the venue, it was gonna be like $6,000 or something ridiculous for like the day, which is a lot. And that meant the ticket price would have been exorbitant. So they didn't do it, which was fine. We hung out with people that night, and then the following day, I can't remember what we did. It was the 4th. I think we just like hung out in the hotel. I was gonna say we may have gone out for lunch, but we did not. Some of our friends were going to a museum, but they didn't know when they were gonna go. They didn't really have like a plan. They were also going on the boat tour, and so they were like, oh yeah, we'll probably get back around the time we need to leave. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that because like we don't have time to get ready if that's the case, because like we were gonna dress fairly nicely. Generally that's what we do when we go on these things. We're in our hotel room and it's thundering and lightning outside. Like we're looking out the window and I'm like, Ankar, we might not be going on this boat tour. Spoiler alert, we went on the boat tour. We got on the bus. We went to a Hilton because like that's where the dock was, and we went on some lake that I can't remember the name of. I think it was like George Hubbard or something Hubbard. Maybe I'm wrong. Still pouring. So we were the second bus. There were 2 bus loads of people. There were like 90 of us total. And I don't know if that included like the sighted volunteers. We pull up, it's still pouring, it's thundering, it's bad. And I'm like, ew, we're probably not doing this. Like they're gonna cancel this, right? No, we stood there for a half hour in the cold and rain. I wasn't feeling 100% at that point. I started to feel a little off, a little sore throaty. The wind and rain was so bad. I wore a dress with like a little kimono duster, like a sheer thing like over it. My clothes were plastered to my skin. We stood there for a half hour. Ankar and I and some other people who were there who also have low vision, we saw the boat. It was trying to dock, and because it's a very small boat, the current on the water was making it so it couldn't really dock. So it docked, and then the catering people had to load the food, and then we had to sign in, like they had to check our names off because we also had to have signed a waiver previously. That took a stupid amount of time. And when we got up there and the lady was checking us off, I saw her paper. It was soaked through. I don't even know how she did it. Someone said her paper was like disintegrating as she was like checking people off. They should have had us do that on the bus. So we get on this boat. It's a 2 tier-ish like boat. There's like the main level, which is enclosed, and then there's like a top level, which is all open air, no walls. Like obviously there's like a rail or whatever, but like there's no covering. It's just like there's tables and stuff up there. We're on this boat. There's 90 of us crammed in. The bottom main level I think can seat 70 or something, like a less amount than 90 people. We start moving. It's still pouring. The current on the water is so bad I can't move because I was so motion sick. And then for food, they did end up going upstairs. It did stop raining. They did end up dispersing. Like people did end up going upstairs. I went upstairs. I tried it, but I couldn't deal. Like the motion of the boat and me moving, and my balance wasn't great because the boat was moving. I was like, I'm never doing that again. I sat at the table the whole time with our group of friends, miserable. And a friend of mine sitting across from me was also miserable because she was also motion sick and she had anti-nausea meds, but she left them in her hotel room. But the nice thing about her was she also had a sweatshirt in her backpack because she brought her backpack with her, and she was like, do you want to wear this? Because like my clothes, like it was so cold in there because it was enclosed. It was air conditioned, obviously. It's Texas in the summer. I was freezing. We were all soaking wet, but she was fine. And I was like, yes, please. So I wore her sweatshirt. We all sat in our wet clothes for the whole night. The dinner was hamburgers and hot dogs. It wasn't even hot dogs. It was like burgers and chicken and salad, or stuff to make a salad yourself. But like the food wasn't hot. And because there were so many of us, and because there was also a bar, the line for the bar and the food were the same line essentially. Like they converged. It was very disorganized. It's not ACB's fault, although it kind of is, because like there should have been a bigger boat for that many people. They did fireworks when we were out there on the water, and Ankar went up and saw them, and he was like, do you want to come? And I was like, no, I can't move. And he was like, oh, hold your hand and help you up the stairs. No, I can't move. I don't want to come. I can't, like, I can't move. I sat there with our friend who gave me the sweatshirt the whole time, and her and I just like talked because like neither of us, I didn't really care about the fireworks, and I felt sick to my stomach. So we get back to the dock. The volunteers who were on our bus, we were friends with them. They are parents of a friend of ours who was also there, but like not on this particular thing. Ankar was like, hey, Diana and I need to get off this boat like right now. You know, I told them I was sick. Like I needed to get off. I needed to get to the bus. Luckily, he can see and he knew where the bus was because like my night vision is so bad. So he like pulled me like to the bus essentially. The other volunteers on the other bus, when we got back, they were giving us crap because we were back before everybody else, and they needed us to stand there and wait for everybody to get there so somebody could check our names off the stupid list. And Ankar and I were both like, I'm sick. He was fine. I was sick. And the bus driver was like, I'll argue with them for you. Just get on. So we got on the bus. Someone handed me a bottle of water. It was the longest ride back in the universe. We get back to the hotel. I'm like laying on the bed. I like took off my wet clothes, obviously, like changed into pajamas. Ankar was trying to make me tea in the Keurig, which was a pain in the ass. In the Hyatt app, it said that we could request a kettle, but we didn't want to deal with like doing it through the app. So he went downstairs and he talked to the front desk and he got a kettle and robes and slippers, which were also like provided free of charge, and a humidifier because like the air in the hotel was so dry and I was so congested because like I was sick. That was our only tour that we did. In the morning, we went to a Shabbat service. They do that every year at the convention. There's a committee, a group, I don't know, they're not an affiliate of Jewish blind people, and this woman who's kind of like the head of it contacted a local rabbi, and he came and he did a Shabbat service, and they were gonna do it Friday night, but it was the 4th, and he was like, I didn't want to drive here. And I was like, I don't blame you. We weren't there for the whole time because they started before we got there and we were only like 5 minutes late. We met a couple of people. There was a scholarship winner there who was like an incoming college freshman. So like that was nice to be able to like chit chat with them and like, you know, talk about like what they wanted to do with their life. Saturday evening, we went to the general session. Well, I popped into the opening general session. It was freezing in that ballroom. For the rest of the week, it was also cold, but that particular night, it was absolutely freezing in that ballroom. Sunday morning, we went out to eat with a friend of ours, and it was going to be 2 of our friends, but the other one never responded. They were gonna go hot air ballooning Saturday morning, but they had to cancel, and a bunch of people got up at 3 o'clock in the morning because they had to leave by like 4 or something from the hotel to go hot air ballooning, and not everybody got the notification that they had to cancel because of the weather. And one of my friends that was going to go with us for breakfast on Sunday, her and her father were not notified, and so she took a nap, which I don't blame her. So she was tired from Saturday, didn't come with us on Sunday, which is fine. We went to like an IHOP adjacent place. It was really good. Our Uber driver there had a Tesla and he was a conspiracy theorist about the Kennedy thing. So that was really interesting and not fantastic. I stayed in the room for most of that day. Onkar did the exhibit hall and he hung out with friends. I stayed in our room because I felt awful, and I DoorDashed COVID tests from CVS to the hotel because I felt so sick. It was not COVID, but I had to run the dance that night for CCLVI, which is the Council of Citizens with Low Vision International, because guess what? I was the convention chair, in addition to being the delegate for Bay State, meaning that I had to collect votes from people for the convention, like for voting, which we were also doing because we had to do a vote the following morning during general session. So we did the dance. I had to go in there early to help set up, which was fine. It was a lot of fun. We did something that was kind of like cowboy adjacent, but not really. I had a really good time. I got to see some friends that I hadn't seen in a really long time who were at the dance. It was great. We stayed for like the whole time. It ended at around 11. We played a game where like you lassoed a chair and then eventually it was like a person sitting in a chair. One of the people who maintained the guide dog relief areas and the play area, him and his wife, he sat in the chair and it was like lasso him because it was all, everybody was low vision, and like if there was somebody who was completely blind, we like tapped like where the chair was, like with the tip of a cane or whatever, so they could like know where it was. The DJ was great. Everything was great. Monday morning I had to get up bright and early and go to general session. Onkar slept in because he didn't start work until like 9 central or whatever, so he worked in the morning. I then wanted to go to the exhibit hall. I think I went during the session potentially because I think it opened like during general session. So as soon as I was done with voting, I left and I went to the exhibit hall, and I'm glad that I did. We met a couple who makes accessible games, like physical games and dice and stuff. Their daughter is blind. She's like 10 or 11 or something, or 9. She's a kid. This couple is sighted and they make like all of these like accessible physical games and stuff. I will link them in the description down below. There was also representatives there from the Dented Puck Foundation, which is associated with blind hockey, like US blind hockey. And they had like a little goal set up with like a slippery surface to do shootouts, which was really cool. I'm gonna link them down below as well because like they're really neat. They're associated with blind hockey. They're a nonprofit and their whole goal is like to just get disabled people more involved in sports, which we all love. The other people who were there were US Blind Tennis. Actually, the guy who was there was a representative from Blind Tennis Australia. The following night, they did a demo. It was an open demo. You could go and practice hitting a tennis ball. They used the same racket. First off, let me go back to blind hockey really quick. Blind hockey is not like blind fencing or goalball, where you have to wear a sleep shade. Blind hockey, everybody can use their usable vision except for the goalie specifically either has to be completely blind or wear a sleep shade. And the goal is also smaller than your average hockey goal, like it's not as wide. The rest of the rules I believe are the same. The puck also is like a stainless steel or something, and there are beads and ball bearings in it, so it makes a lot of noise when it's moving across the ice, and it is all dented up from people like whacking the hell out of it, which is why the people who were there are called the Dented Puck Foundation. Back to blind tennis. They use the same racket. It is like blind hockey where you can use your usable vision that you have. The ball itself, the tennis ball, is a ping pong ball encased in foam, like a thick foam, so like it's not going to hurt you if it hits you in the face. Ideally, inside of that ping pong ball is like the same thing as the hockey puck, like beads and whatever, to like make noise like as it bounces. Depending on your vision, there's a cutoff, and I can't remember what it is for like acuity, but depending on your vision, you have the ball to bounce twice after going over the net, and then you have to hit it, or 3 times. If you're completely blind, I think, or have like light perception or whatever, or like less vision, you get like the 3 times. And if you can see farther away, if your vision is better, you get like the 2, if that makes sense. We did it. It was like 2 on 2. It was me and Onkar and our friend that we went out to breakfast with on Sunday, who's really tall, and the blind tennis guy, like the rep from Blind Tennis Australia. prior to that, there were a couple of other people in there doing it with us, and then like Ankar and our friend came in like and swapped out, and one of the people doing it was the nephew of a friend of mine. He's like I think 17 or something. He hit the ball, because the ball isn't as heavy as a regular tennis ball, it can like ricochet and move a lot easier. So he like hit the ball and it went up into a hanging ceiling light, like that was hanging down from the ceiling, and it just stayed there. Whoever decided to put this demo where they did, they put it in a smaller conference room instead of in a much larger ballroom with higher ceilings, which was really stupid. So we had to use a new ball. The other thing is that they have different colored balls. They have a black one. He said the black one I think is like for if you're outside. And the other one that's not neon like a regular tennis ball, it is like a greenish color, but it's not like as bright. That is for like indoor use or something. And the guy said that when you are playing a match or when you're in like a tennis club or whatever and you're doing a game, there are sighted people telling you to move left or move right to hit the ball. We did not have that, and I was afraid of getting hit with the ball, so I would always hit it too early or too late. I think I ended up actually connecting with it with my racket one time, but that's okay. Tuesday morning was the same as Monday. I had to get up and do general session and whatever. I walked in there. There is an agenda with timestamps for these. It was shortly after 8. I think they were doing roll call at 8:30. I think I walked in there like at around 8:15 maybe. It wasn't quite 8:30. They had already started roll call. They were at Alabama. I was like, all right, whatever, no big deal. I'll just get here a little earlier on Wednesday. Wednesday rolls around. I walk in there. It's right around 8:30. Like it's not 8:30 yet. They're doing roll call for the voting. They're at Kentucky. I had to do the roll call for Massachusetts. So here I am, sick, not fully awake, with my stupid backpack on, because like I have my water bottle and whatever else in there, booking it to a mic, and I didn't really know where the other mics were apart from the one at the Massachusetts table that was like at the end of the table. That was at the other end of the room, at the front, like kind of near the front of the room, and I have asthma. Like essentially, like not really, but like asthmatic tendencies. I have an inhaler. That was not pleasant. It ended up working out fine in the end, but it was a very stressful time for me. So then Thursday morning, I get there at 8 when the general session starts, and there was a sponsor. It was a person from Meta doing a presentation, because everybody in the blind community loves the Meta glasses. I have a pair. Ankar gave them to me for Christmas. She did her presentation for like about a half hour, and I was pissed because I thought that, you know, it was roll call time again. I didn't read the agenda. I should have, but I also didn't realize how long the presentation was going to be, so I had to sit through all of that before we got to roll call. But the good thing was we didn't have to do another vote in the afternoon. Sometimes you do. We did that in Jacksonville. I talked about it. There were bad vibes in the room then. Back to Wednesday night, a group of us went out to dinner. There were 6 of us. It was myself and Ankar, another guy friend of ours, and 3 women that we're friends with. We got an Uber Black because our guy friend takes Uber Black everywhere. So he booked it, and we took an Uber Black back to the hotel. The good thing was that 2 of our friends who were with us are guide dog users, and typically I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but typically I think with the Uber Black people, even though they're contracted out by Uber, they like drive like luxury cars, and they're like, it's like a town car service essentially, but like through Uber. They, I think, were less likely to deny us because of the guide dog situation. Because if you remember back to my Jacksonville videos, we had a really nasty guide dog denial when we were coming back from dinner with a friend of ours. We went to a local Mexican restaurant. It was so good, you guys. I still think about the food that I got there. I got shrimp tacos, and I got like an elote dish like on the side, like Mexican street corn, but it wasn't quite Mexican street corn. It was so good, whatever it was. Like, oh, I still think about that sometimes. We went kind of early-ish, which was fine. One of our friends had to get back because she is staff at ACB, and she had to meet with some people that were there, like some professional people, and they were meeting at a specific time. And another friend of ours was going to the movie that night, because they do an audio described movie every year that was an Oscar winner. This past one they did Wicked. I didn't go to that because I had to run game night for for CCLVI. We did Family Feud. I also didn't talk about Tuesday night, I'm realizing. We'll get to that in a minute. But I had a migraine and Ankar had a seizure because he has epilepsy. So I was like, we're not gonna stay in this room and I'm not gonna run this. I have a migraine, I can't run this. And he was like, no, let's stay. No, I have a migraine and you just had a seizure. Like, there's no point, we're leaving. Luckily, the other person who was doing it with me was able to do it and wrangle in a helper, like a person to help do it with her, because it is hard to do it all by yourself with the judging and everything. That really sucked that we weren't able to do that. Although I think my body was definitely telling me I needed to rest. Tuesday night, we did bingo, which is like a huge deal. I know it sounds so stupid, but bingo at these things is a big deal. It was packed. The prizes were pretty good. I won. The prize I got was so... When we were in Schaumburg, when I went to the dance that was in Schaumburg a couple of years ago, I won a door prize that was like an oven mitt and tea towel set from Hawaii that like a couple of our friends had donated as a thing at bingo back in July in Dallas. Guess what I won? Out of every possible thing that they had there for a prize. And they had like gift cards and like insulated coolers and I think like alcohol. I got like the tea towel and oven mitt, which was fine. It's whatever, like I don't care. Now I have 2 oven mitts that match. That's cute. During bingo, one of the hotel people came in because it had been pouring rain that night. They were like, some rooms are flooding in this hotel. Now at the time, we all thought that it was because of the rain. No, there was a leak in a pipe somewhere. Like a pipe had burst or something. There were rooms on a specific side of the elevator bank. It was like floors 12 and 14 or whatever. Ankar and I were on floor 14, but we were on the other side of the elevators, like on the opposite hallway, and we were like way far down. So like we were fine. A couple of friends of mine did not go to bingo and they were coming back from the restaurant in the hotel. And because the hotel is all open, because it's like a big giant atrium for like all 20 something floors, they were rained on from the pipe that burst. So the hotel was very quick and efficient about like moving people who were affected by it. At the time, we all were like, is this from the rain? Like, is there an evacuation plan? I was very stressed out and anxious, but it was fine. Thursday, I went out for lunch with a couple of friends of mine. First off, I had to help with a little project. CCLVI has a quarterly newsletter called Vision Access, and we needed to pick covers for it, like color covers. The person who edits Vision Access, who compiles it every year, she can't see color at all. Like, she only sees grayscale. There were like 6 or 8 of us figuring this out because all of us have different degrees of vision and some of us see colors differently than others. So we ended up choosing the covers. There were like 16 to 20 different options. We narrowed it down. It was fine. In the interim, Ankar had gone out to eat. He went with a couple of friends, I think there were like 6 of them including him, to a deli that was like within walking distance. I was doing the Vision Access thing and he knew that I already had plans for lunch. He had taken Thursday off. He knew I had plans for lunch. My 2 girlfriends and I had talked about going somewhere outside of the hotel for lunch all week in his general vicinity. And he called me while I was doing the cover thing and he was like, do you want to get lunch? And I was like, no, I have plans. And he was like, well, I'm at this deli. Do you want to come here? And I was like, I don't know where we're going for lunch. I'm busy right now. And he was like, well, do you want to come here? And I was like, I don't know. And like, by the time we get there, you're gonna be done because you ordered your food already. Men are stupid. So we didn't go to the deli. We went to this little hole in the wall place called City Tacos, and I had some damn delicious tacos. They were so good. And they had like the Mexican sodas in the bottle, the Jarritos or whatever they're called. Like they had a guava one. So we all got the guava bottles and it was so lovely. We sat out in the heat because it was a little like literal hole in the wall, like open air, and there were stools on the sidewalk on one side of like this open window island bar situation thing, like cut out in the wall, and then there were stools on the other side as well. The walk was fine to and from. It was kind of like long though because it was so hot and I was not doing so great still. Like I was feeling better, but it was just not fun. We went back to the hotel and we did go swimming for a bit. The pool at that hotel is the size of an oversized bathtub. It was very underwhelming, but at least we were able to get into the water and get cool. And then Ankar and I went out for dinner with like 12 other people. We went to the Omni Hotel, which was within walking distance of our hotel, but because there were so many of us and because some people had different mobility issues, we took Ubers. They put us in our own private room in the restaurant at the hotel because there were 14 of us. We had a really nice dinner and then we got back and hung out with our friends for a bit. We got back really late though. We were there for 4 hours because I think that we were such a big party that they were taking so long to accommodate us, which was fine. A friend of ours from Hawaii had snacks that she wanted to give me, and she had said this to me earlier in the week, but we had never been able to like facilitate it because the snacks were always in her room or like we were both busy. So we went up to their room, said goodbye to her and our other friend. She gave me like this big plastic like grocery store bag full of snacks, which was great because then I had snacks on my flight home, even though they did give us some snacks on the flight home. And then we went to bed stupid late, got up the next morning. Everybody was like, you need to leave the hotel at like around 8 o'clock. When we got there, so we left at around 8:30. Of course there was no traffic leaving this hotel, go figure. And also we discovered that like you have to pay a toll to go to the airport in Dallas, which is stupid. Like, is that how they pay for parking there? I've never seen that in my life. He goes to his airline, I go to Delta. He left his neck pillow in the lift that we had taken. I didn't see it. It blended in with the seat. And I had told him to snap it to his backpack because you know how like they can typically like snap, like the ends of them have like a button and you can like snap it together and like put it on a thing. Does he listen? No, but that's okay because he's not in my life anymore. He had to change gates twice. My flight was delayed by like a half hour, but it was okay because there was an Einstein bagel company there and I love them and I love bagels. So I got myself an egg and cheese on an Asiago bagel and it was so good. And his plane was delayed because a bird hit it coming into the airport. Like a bird hit the plane. So he ended up leaving after I did. I was on my plane, which had already been delayed. He was delayed like 2 hours, I think. He was supposed to leave before me. So I was on my plane taxiing and he still hadn't left Dallas yet. So I went home. The flight was fine. The person who was sitting next to me on the flight was flight crew because she was supposed to be working on that flight, but then with the delay and everything, like obviously she wasn't. So she was now a passenger. And she wasn't that nice and I don't think she liked me. So we land, I get my stuff down from the bin because I had like a carry-on like wheeler thing, like roller bag and my backpack, and I had to go to baggage and get my bag. So we go and she's so concerned about me getting home because I was going back to Maine and I was like, my family is here, like somebody from my family is here to get me, I will be fine. So we go to baggage and she's like, are you sure? Because I have to catch a bus and go home. And I'm like, it's not my problem that you decided to be my meet and assist because the meet and assist person like didn't show up. So she left. Luckily, when I was at baggage, my father was already in the airport. If you're not familiar with the Boston Logan International Airport, boy, because I flew Delta, they basically have their own terminal, which is great. So I was at baggage. He had parked somewhere, like there was a little lot close by that he was able to park in, and he talked to like a statey or something that was there and was like, my daughter's blind, I need to pick her up and can I like park here? And the guy was like, yeah. And then my flight was delayed because he got there and I was still like, I don't even think I had left the airport yet. I think I might have still been in Dallas. I could be wrong. He was sitting there for a long time. So then he went up to the statey again and he was like, hey, like her flight's delayed. The guy was like, yeah, whatever. So it was great. We went home. I rested. I got rid of my cold. I'm forgetting something. When we landed in Dallas, the bin that my carry-on was in, that my like suitcase was in, was stuck. So it was like me and another woman and an elderly couple, and like all of our stuff was stuck in that bin. The man in the elderly couple was trying to open the bin. So the Delta people on the flight, like the crew, they were like, don't do that, like stop, like wait for maintenance to come. The man was like, these people don't know that I worked for Delta for 30 years. This is how you do it. Maintenance came, they opened it, they got our stuff, we left, it was fine. But it was like just my luck that like this would happen, right? that's basically what happened at the convention. I did spend a lot of time in the exhibit hall. I didn't really buy anything because I didn't go on any tours. They did have a little gift shop in the hotel because we were at Reunion Tower. So they did have like a little thing with like some merch like for Dallas and for Reunion Tower or whatever. I did get a little model of the Reunion Tower like from the gift shop. It's a heavy thing. It's like metal, I think, almost, or something. And I wish that they had included something like that in our favor bags from ACB because that was really cool, but they never do anything like that in the favor bags that we get from ACB. 90% of it is advertisements and most of it is Braille, and I can't read Braille. Although this year we got the Sony Link Buds again. Some people had slightly different bags, so like mine had a pumice stone in it, which was great, and an umbrella. JP Morgan, because they have a leadership fellowship thing that they do, they had like put in umbrellas. I don't think everybody got an umbrella though. And I did get the t-shirt for this year. It was navy blue and it had like line art of the view that was outside of our room, which was like of the bridge, I guess, or whatever. But because the line art was so busy and nobody cleaned it up or like had a professional design it or did it in color, it looks just as bad as the Jacksonville t-shirt. Actually, the Jacksonville t-shirt looks way worse. Next year in 2026, we'll be in St. Louis at the Hyatt at the Arch, which is exciting because the Arch is literally right there, like you can walk to it. I'm glad that we're not going to be at the hotel we were at last time we were in St. Louis. That was terrible. It was the Union Station Hotel. I think that's like a Hilton franchise. My friend and I, we both had like the worst experience at that hotel. It was so bad. I don't know if I ever talked about it. Again, I'm going to be the delegate for Bay State, for Massachusetts, for the voting. Again, I am the convention chair for CCLVI, which is exciting. We're going to have a dance and game night. This year we did a crafting event, which we did do on that Wednesday. I kind of blocked it out because it was like not great. It was very difficult. The point was to make bracelets and keychains that looked like a cane, like that, you know, were black, white, and red, except whoever procured the materials did not really do a lot of thinking when they procured the materials. So like the string was really, really thin and the beads were really tiny and it was hard for anybody to do it, let alone like a blind person. I thought we were gonna be using paracord or something and like bigger, thicker beads, but no. So we're not doing anything like that again. We're not doing a craft event. In 2026, we are going to be combining our dance night and game night, kind of, because of the way that things are. Because one of the affiliates is doing a comedian and karaoke, and that's going to take a lot of people away from us. Like they hire a comedian and then they have community karaoke on Sunday night, and then Tuesday night is bingo, which like everybody goes to bingo. And Wednesday night, they already said they're going to be going to a Cardinals Cubs game, which is going to take 3/4 of the attendees. So we were like, well, Monday is the only night we can do the dance and game night because Friday, the first Friday, everybody's just coming in. Saturday is opening general session, and sometimes that doesn't end until 11 o'clock. The Thursday is the banquet, and then like the second Friday, like most people are gone because only some people stay for the tours that happen on the second Friday. So we're gonna do like game night first, and then we're gonna do the dance like after. But that was the 2025 convention. I know it was very underwhelming. It wasn't like as exciting as Jacksonville, and I know I'm like 6 months late, but you know what? We're doing our best here. The next video, I don't really know what we're gonna be talking about, but follow me on my gaming channel, like and subscribe here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.